who would like to win more, have you thought about if God was to bet on the World Cup, how would he do it? Well, before the actual game, without using his powers to control the players and cheat, he would tell the players to go and play me a warm-up game. He would observe that game, let's say it's Argentina versus Brazil, he would write down the score. And he'll let them rest for 3 full days, come back, fresh as new, same time, same condition, and play another game, he'll write down the score. God will make them play 10,000 games. After 10,000 games, God will say, aha! Argentina versus Brazil, Argentina wins 1-0 exactly 2,000 out of those 10,000 times. Then I know for a fact, accurate odds of that is 1 in 5 or 20%. And therefore, the payout I need from the betting market, the fair odds is $5. Why $5? Well, let's say you bet $1, right? It didn't happen the first time, it didn't happen the second time, you lose, finally it happened. Well, that win better pay for all your losses in the beginning. Therefore, to get your money back, you need $5 from the markets. So God goes, if it's below $5, let's say it's $3.80, he goes, no bet. If it's $5.50, God plays in a standard size bet, right? And if everyone thinks it's going to be a crazy high scoring game and that pushes the payout to $8, $10, God will be very happy. He quietly slips in a bigger bet. Not so big that it damages, like lose big chunk of his capital, what they call bankroll. But when it does happen, right, 20% of the time it happened, that game, the payout will be huge, right? And you will take that profit, he put it into his snowball and will keep repeating it. This is what poker players call positive expected value. Very simple. Contrast this to what everyone else does. When people hear a game, their thinking process is very straightforward. It never changed since your grandfather's day. It's like, okay, who is the country? If it's a big country, right, immediately they can win. And then they close their eyes and imagine a number, like 3-0, 2-0, something like that. The problem with that approach is that not only you don't know the actual probability, the number, percentage of a scoreline, right? And therefore you cannot compare and you decide whether I should take or reject an offer from the market. The second problem with that is that you can never improve. A lot of you say, okay, I get it, right? The evidence base makes a lot of sense. But the problem is, I can't make an international team play 10,000 times. Well, true, but in 2026, we have something very similar. This year, NVIDIA had a massive breakthrough in AI. When I was young, I always hear that it's harder to predict the weather than sending a man to the moon. It's true, right? The distance between the moon and the earth is the same, gravity is the same, a lot of things is fixed. But with weather, a lot of it is there's a lot of randomness in our atmosphere. So to predict the weather, it would take like $100 million computers, days of calculation. But with the breakthrough of NVIDIA, what they did is that they created a digital virtual environment called the Omniverse. In the Omniverse, they have a digital equivalent of everything that happens in the atmosphere. They take the result of the weather of the last 100 years, right? And then millions of data points and let them interact with some randomness and thousands of times, and then they write down what happened. So in this condition, what's the percentage of raining, what's the percentage of a massive hurricane and things like that. And that reduced the cost and time of forecasting weather by 1,000x. It used to think it cost millions of dollars, now it costs like $1,400. At BetAI, what we did is we take that breakthrough framework from weather forecasting, we apply it to sports. So we have our own digital environment called we trademarked it Predictiverse. In the Predictiverse, we have a digital equivalent of all the players. Like we have digital Messi, we have digital Ronaldo, we have digital Kane, right? And all the physical attributes up to the last game. Average distance run, percentage of passing complete, shots on goal, tackles, anything that can happen on the field, we have an equivalent digital version of. And we let the players play, interact hundreds, thousands of times, and we observe the result like God. And that is a massive breakthrough. So as a user in the past, all you can do is just punt, right, and never improve your win rate. Now you can take that data. I'll give you an example. The game between Brazil and Morocco, right? Now, if you ask people before the game, their thinking process has been the same for like 100 years. First, they name the countries, or Brazil, okay, Brazil gonna win. And then here's Morocco, well, don't know really about them. They don't have any stars I know about, can't even find a country on the map. So it's going to be a big win for Brazil. And they close their eyes and they imagine a big number like, 3-0. That's like the most common guess. Contrast that to BetAI. If you ask BetAI before the game, our AI will tell you, actually, based on scientific simulation, the most probable result between Brazil and Morocco is 1-1. Then the next day, of course, 1-1. And so you can see that it's a really powerful tool. You can have really accurate insight. The most important thing is that the model can improve over time. So for instance, something happened to a player, star player is injured, right? Your odds of high scoring should come down, right? And nothing out there would tell you sort of in real time. We would update the model and then replay the game over and over again, have a more accurate outcome to reflect reality. The same with suspensions and red card and things like that. The other thing is, because we have our inputs, we can backtest the inputs when the result come out. We can then always make the model closer and closer to reality, the best we can do it, and closer to God mode.